Hello, welcome to a new video about using Blender together with the FabEX CNC add-on to generate G-code for the CNC. In this episode, we are going to mill this mesh, which is a German Shepherd dog. You can find the mesh together with a lot of other high-quality meshes optimized for CNC on my Etsy page, which you can find by following the link in the description of this video. If you want to mill projects and sell them, there's no limitation when using Blender and FabEX CNC. Let me show you how to quickly set up everything from a clean Blender installation. I'm using Blender 5.1. You can use the latest version, and as long as you download the latest FabX CNC version, everything will be just fine. Once you have installed Blender, visit the link in the description of the video to download the FabX CNC add-on, and then let's go to the Edit menu, Preferences, go to Get Extensions, click on this arrow in the top right corner, select Install from Disk, and select the zip file that you have downloaded, click on Install from Disk, and in a couple of moments the FabX CNC add-on should be installed. Just to make sure that everything is okay, I will restart Blender, and I recommend you do this too, even though generally it works without restarting. Now in the default Blender screen we need to set the scene, just to make sure we have the required precision for CNC. I'm using metric, so I'm going to leave the unit system to metric, and I'm going to set the length to millimeters. This is really important to be able to set those high precision step over values, step down, tool bit diameter, and everything there is to set about the CNC. We need to have the scene set to millimeters. Now let's import the STL file. For that, I'm going to the File menu, click on Import, select STL, go to where I saved the file that I have downloaded from Etsy, select it, and click on Import STL. By default, the object is going to be very large, so we need to scale it down. Before scaling it, we need to see how large it is. To see that, we need to open the side menu either by clicking on this arrow here, or the easiest method, just move your mouse over the 3D view and press the N key on your keyboard. This opens up this menu. Let's go to Item, check the dimensions, which are absolutely huge. It is 150,000 millimeters, 150 meters. This happens because of the way we have set the scene, but we have set it like this to have everything properly for the CNC. Let's change the dimensions. Let's change the X. I'm going to make it 150 millimeters. Press Enter, and now up here I can see the scale. For X I have 0.001. For the Y and the Z I have the default one. I can modify these values too by just typing the X value, or I can click, hold, move the mouse down, release, and press Enter. This scales the entire object so it is proportional using the new values. To bring it into view, to zoom in closer, I can either press the dot key on my numpad, or if I don't have a numpad, I need to press the tilde key, the wavy minus key. And here click on the view selected option or press the 3 key. You can see the shortcut here written for each of these options. And now the view has zoomed in on the object. It also changed the rotation point, so now I can rotate the view around the object to see the object from any side. We are almost ready with importing the object. There's one more thing that I need to do. The scale is set to 0.01. And this might lead to some problems in certain situations, so move the mouse in the 3D view, make sure the object is selected, press Ctrl A and select all transforms. This resets the scale to 1 with the current dimensions. Let's set a side view, and we can see that the object is starting from Z0 upwards, so it's positive Z. If I set the origin on the CNC on the surface of the table, this is just fine, but for 3D carvings, I prefer to set the Z0 to the top of the material just to make sure any differences in the material thickness won't affect the final result. So setting the Z0 on the top of the material means I need to move this object below this thread line, the X-axis, below Z0. I could do that by using the Move tool and just moving the object around, but I don't think I will have the required precision, so let's undo it. And let's take advantage of the tools that we have inside FabX CNC. Let's go to the Render tab here on the right and change the render engine from Eve to FabX CNC. I need to remind you to change the interface and the layout to be experimental and modern. Otherwise, some of the options that I have, some of the things that I click might not be there and you might not be able to follow along this video. When changing the render engine, I already have an operation created here, which I will ignore for now, but I will scroll down to the material section. Here I have the position group, where I have the options to center on X and on Y axis, which I don't want. What those options do, let me check them and click on position object. You can see that they center the origin inside the object. It moves the object so X0 and Y0 are in the center of the object, but I don't like this approach. I like to set my origin in the corner of the material, so I will uncheck these two options. For our situation, for moving the object below Z0, I have this option, Z placement, which is set to below. Click on position object. It now moved it to the positive X and Y, and the tallest point of the object is at Z0, everything else is below. What happened when I move the object around? You can see this object here, which is the material for the CNC, has been left behind. To make it refresh, I need to change the additional option here, set it to 10, then set it back to 0, and now the material has been refreshed, so it covers the current position of the object that we want to mill. Because we have set the object below Z0, I have this annoying grid, which I can hide by going here and unchecking the floor option. Now I can better see the object when I'm taking a look from the top. Let's make a few more settings before leaving this menu here. Scroll down to the machine. Make sure you have selected the post processor according to your machine. In my case, it's a GRBL machine. And the units either inches or millimeters. I'm going to use millimeters. You can set the work area according to your machine, how much your machine can move. This doesn't affect the toolpath. This only triggers some warnings if the object is outside of this work area. Two things are important to set here, the feed rate and the spindle speed. For both of them I have a default value, which is not that important. I can change that value when setting the operation. What is important is the minimum and the maximum range. Any value outside of that range will be automatically reduced or increased, so it fits inside the range. If you create an operation using a certain feed rate or a certain spindle speed, then you see in the final G-code that value has been modified. Remember to go to the machine setup and change the minimum and the maximum for these two values. I will set a maximum feed rate of 3500 millimeters per minute and a rapid speed of 6500 millimeters per minute. This is what my machine is set up to. The spindle speed, the maximum spindle speed on my machine is 24,000 RPM. I can also set a price per hour, but I will leave it to the default 100. This option here helps, besides calculating the total work time for each operation, also calculates the price based on this hourly price. Setting a correct price here allows you to give the proper code to the customer right after computing the toolpath. Now that we have set everything for the machine, let's go to this menu here. Again, if you cannot see it, just move the mouse over the 3D view and press the N key, which toggles its visibility. Let's go to the CNC tab. I will also scroll up here. Make sure you keep the mouse to the side so you don't modify any value when scrolling. And go to the operations group, where I have the default operation. And the first thing that I'm going to do is change its name. I'm going to call it roughing. I have two values here, the operation name and the file name, but I can click on this button which links them together. I only need to set one name, and I'm going to call it roughing German Shepherd. So this is going to be the roughing operation. After that, we will also create the finishing operation. Now let's go to this area here where we have all the settings for each operation. The first thing that I'm going to change is the strategy from profile to parallel. Because this is the roughing pass, I'm going to leave a skin of 0.25 millimeters. There will be some material that won't be milled. And then when making the finishing pass using a bore cone tool bit, we will remove all the material to get the required shape. The angle of pass is default set to 0, which means along the y-axis, but I like my machine to move along the x-axis. It is much sturdier, the movement is much cleaner, so I will change the angle to 90 degrees instead of 0. This makes the movement along the x-axis. Because this is a roughing pass, I'm going to use a large step over of 4 millimeters, and I will ignore all the other settings down to the operation area, where I will change the safe height to 5 millimeters. It's high enough above the object, so I won't leave the default 10 millimeters because it means just useless movement. The start depth is going to be 0, so on top of the material, and the maximum depth is going to be determined by the object itself. This means that the tool bit will go as low as needed to create this shape. I remind you, these are just the settings that you need to change from the default. I will skip a lot of other settings because you don't need to change them. Just modify these values to get the toolpath that you need. So let's go to layers, make sure it is checked, and change the height because I'm going to use a 6 mm tool bit. A 4 mm layer height should be large enough to quickly remove material but to avoid breaking the tool bit. In the cutter section, I will make sure the type is set to end mill, and I will set the correct diameter of 6 mm. Now let's scroll down to the feed rate section. Let's set a feed rate of 3500 mm per minute. I'm going to use the maximum speed of the machine for the roughing pass and set a spindle speed of 20,000 RPM, which should be just fine for quickly removing the material without stressing the tool bit too much. The plunge speed is the speed along the z-axis. In Blender, in FabEX CNC, the plunge speed, the movement along the z-axis, is not expressed as a fixed value in millimeters per minute, but rather a percentage of the XY feed rate. My machine can handle it, so I will set the plunge speed to 100%, scroll down to Operation G-code and check the output trailer. Click on this little arrow here and write M02 in the field. If I don't do this, after the operation finishes, the machine will keep on spinning. I don't like that, so I enter this value here, which means it will stop everything once the G-code has been processed. For the movement, because I'm milling wood and I'm milling ash, which is prone to splintering, I will leave the milling type to climb, which is the movement type that is ideal for milling wood without risking splinters. Make sure the cutter spin is set correctly according to your machine. It is a clockwise spindle as most of the spindles are. I will scroll down, click on the arrow next to exact mode, and check the Use OpenCamLib option. This will make the computation of the toolpath faster and more precise. This is all that I need to set here. I can now go to the right and click on the Calculate Path and Export G-code button. Before doing that, I need to tell you that you need to either save the Blender file. You can see that my file is not saved, and I recommend generally saving the Blender file. Or if you want the G-code to be exported in a certain folder, scroll up, and here I have the Export Folder option. I can click on this one, go into the folder where I want to export the G-code, and click on the Accept button. Now the export folder has been set. I can scroll back to the Operations group and click on the Calculate Path and Export G-code button. For the roughing operation, the calculation will be pretty fast. For the finishing operation, you will see later it will take a little bit longer, but still very fast compared to a lot of other commercial or free solutions. I have the toolpath. It has the necessary layers. It follows a model wherever the 6 mm end mill can fit because it's a pretty large tool bit for this job. Let's go to the machine. Let's open Universal G-code Sender in my case and run this G-code file. Now that we have made the roughing pass, you can see the overall shape of the dog is pretty visible, but obviously not so good quality. One thing that I forgot to show you, if you enlarge this menu on the left, you can see here some estimates, the total time and the cost calculated based on the price per hour that we have set. Let me tell you that this time is going to be smaller than the actual time, and that is because of the acceleration of the machine. When computing the time, the program assumes the acceleration is instant, but that's not the case. The machine has some physical limitations, needs to have an acceleration set, and this means that each movement will be slightly slower than what is calculated. But overall, this estimate is a good indicator of how long the operation will take. To copy the operation, we need to select it in the tree. Click on this button here, copy active CAM operation. It has been created here. We need to change the name, of course. So let's call it finishing German Shepherd. Now let's go to the left panel. Again, if you cannot find it, move the mouse over the 3D view and press the N key to toggle its visibility. What I would like to do is to hide this roughing operation. I don't need it anymore, but I will keep it here. To hide it, go to the path collection and uncheck the eye icon next to the roughing operation. So now let's change the settings. Let's transform this roughing operation into a finishing pass. First, let's change the skin. Let's set it to 0 millimeters. So now the actual model will be followed exactly. Let's change the toolpath, and from my experience, for the tool bit that I'm going to use, which is a 0.5 millimeters radius bore cone, the step over of 0.2 millimeters is the best compromise between speed and good quality, good results. I will leave the safe height to 5, the operation depth again set to 0, and the maximum set by the object. What I will change is uncheck the layers. I don't need layers anymore. Most of the material has been removed, so I can safely make just one pass. Now let's set the proper cutter for the finishing pass. Let's change the type from end to bore cone. The radius is going to be 0.5 and the V-curve angle is 3.5 degrees. The diameter is 6 millimeters. I will leave the feed rate to 3500 millimeters per minute, but I will reduce slightly the spindle speed. For my setup, for my machine, for my tool bit, for the material that I'm milling, a spindle speed of 18,000 RPM leaves a very good finish. This time I'm going to change the milling type. Since it is going to remove very small amounts of material, it can do that both when moving from left to right and when moving from right to left. So I will change the milling time from climb to meander this time. This will reduce the overall operation duration in half. The cutter spin obviously is the same. Make sure the use open cam leave is checked, otherwise the computation time will be much larger. And click on the calculate path and export gcode button to calculate the toolpath. Depending on the quality of the mesh, on how many faces it has, if there are self-intersections, if it's manifold or not, so a good quality mesh is really important. And let me remind you that you can find this mesh along with many other meshes optimized for CNC on my Etsy page, which you can visit by following the link in the description. So let's click on this button. It will take a few minutes, probably around 2 minutes. For this dimension and for this precision, I think it's a very good computation time. Once the operation is ready, you can see the toolpath. You need to really zoom in to see the different passes. So this is going to give us a great surface, a very fine surface. Opening the menu on the left will allow us to see the overall time, which is 36 minutes, but because it has a lot of accelerations and decelerations for all the direction changes, this time is probably going to be around 45 minutes. You can see that compared to the roughing operation, I don't have any movements from one side to the other at the safe height. Instead, it just starts here and keeps on milling both when going from left to right and right to left all the way to the top. So let's take this file, load it into Universal G-Code Sender and see the final result on the machine.